Mayor Smiley, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Wonderful. Now, the big story locally this year has been regaining local control of the Providence Public School District. Where are we in your timeline? The hope was to regain control by the summer.
So the state has run the Providence Public Schools for 6 years now, and the Commissioner of Education has a vote from the Board of Education to keep the schools no later than 2027. We've been in discussions and negotiations between the Commissioner, the Governor, the General Assembly to try to take our schools back sooner. I continue to push for this summer, the summer of 25, and obviously the Commissioner is open to accelerating the timeline. When she took that vote, it was up to 2027, no later than 2027, and so we continue to work at it. Everyone accepts and agrees that the schools are coming back. It's just a question of when, and we want to make sure that we're ready.
There have been some naysayers, some people that say the city may not be ready. The Education Commissioner herself has been cautious. What do you say to those folks that maybe don't think the city's ready to take schools back?
We ran the schools for decades, and yes, it's a big change, but I also don't want to over dramatize the impact of taking the schools back. We've done this for a long time. It's only been 6 years that the state's been running our schools. For all the decades that preceded it, they were run at the local level, and every other district other than Central Falls is run at the local level. So communities know how to do this. Providence knows how to do this. I'm confident that we are ready. We have a brand new school board. They're rapidly getting up to speed as well. And so we continue to demonstrate effort. We continue to put our work forward, and we continue to listen to parents, because that's the other piece here. The parents and students in Providence overwhelmingly say they want the schools back in local control also.
You released a plan not too long ago, sort of as a guide to regain local control. Would you have done anything differently in releasing that plan or creating it?
There's plenty of critics and plenty of feedback, and there are some people who levied some criticism to say, well, we weren't consulted and we weren't consulted. This was my plan. This was the mayor's administration's plan. This was not meant to be, we've talked to every education expert in Rhode Island or in America. And so I might have been more clear about that from the get-go, because it wasn't intentionally leaving anyone out, but neither was it intended to be represented as the plan to take the schools back. This was our reporting of where we've been, where we are now, and where we're going. And there's still plenty of work left to do, and we're engaging lots of people in that process.
And to be clear, we don't know yet if the city will have control of the schools by July, as you had previously hoped.
No, we don't know yet, but we remain in regular conversation. The Department of Education, the Providence Public School District, the city council, the school board, all 5 of those parties, we meet and work regularly together, and we work well together. I know there's been some public scuffles over the last year, but on a day-to-day basis, our teams, our staffs are all working really hard together. Again, it gets back to this: we know the turnover is going to end. A little bit up for grabs for exactly when, but it's sometime in the next 2.5 years. It's not that big of a window that we're talking about here, so we all agree that we need to be working diligently to work out some remaining transition questions. But the time is coming. It's coming soon.
There was a financial settlement that was reached between the state and the city regarding Providence Public Schools and how they are funded. Talk about your feelings throughout that process and where we are today with that.
Along the way, I never disputed that the schools needed and deserved more money. The question was, could we afford the major increase in funding in 1 year that was being demanded? Unfortunate for me and for our taxpayers, the judge and the Department of Education, they won and decided that the money needed to be paid in 1 year. And so that's why we're having to raise taxes this year in Providence. I'm happy that it's going to the schools. I do want what's best for our families, but what I think should have been done was more modest increases in school funding year over year, instead of this giant one-time payment that has resulted in a bit of a budget challenge for us here in Providence.
What do you say to families, students, educators even, about your promise for the future of Providence Public Schools?
There's a story being told about the Providence Public Schools that is not always positive. The reality is that students in Providence can get an excellent education, and many of our students go on to do incredible things. We've just wrapped up graduation season. Some of our top performing students are going to incredible universities, and we should be so proud of that. The challenge is that in many cases, each of those students needed to have either a parent or a caregiver or another adult to be their advocate throughout the education process. And there's a lot of families and a lot of students who don't have that advocate, whose parents aren't able to be that advocate, or who don't have parents that are in this country at this time or are able to be at home to be that advocate. We can have a system where no kids fall through the crack, where you don't have to be a full-time advocate for your child, where you get placed in the right place and that it's easier to make sure that the student gets the services that they need. And I believe we can do that. We're on the right path. There are signs of good progress, and there are definitely signs of exceptional achievement by some of our students. But we've got more work to do. I don't accept the status quo, and we'll keep pushing, and I know that parents want what's best for their kids too, and they should have confidence that that is possible in the Providence Public Schools.
Mayor Smiley, thanks so much for sitting down with me.
Thank you.